Hello, everyone. In today's episode, I get to chop it up with the Dapper Chef about pursuing passions, social justice, and why being represented matters. Welcome to the Dapper Chef, and welcome to Come As You Are. So, hey guys, I am with my guest, the one and only Dapper Chef, Mr. Chris Mungin. This man is extremely talented. Have seen him grow from a wily teenager to the extraordinary man that he is today. Um, just basically welcome to the show, man. So happy to
Hey,
have you.
salutations, sir.
Likewise,
It's
likewise.
eh,
Um, for those of my for those of us watching who don't know what the Dapper Chef brand is, why don't you tell us a little bit about it? What made you come up with it, and what made you want to be a chef?
yes, all good questions. So, thank you for having me on your show.
Mm-hmm.
So, the Dapper Chef actually started when I was in. Uh, I guess the genesis of it was when I was in California. So I was originally from Nebraska. I wasn't able to go home for a lot of the holidays. So
Mm-hmm.
one day I decided just to invite my friends over. I told them just to throw me like $5 to cook them like Easter dinner. So I made my mom's red rice, which is pretty much like the Gullah version of jambalaya. That went okay, and then the next year and then the next
I
year I
heard.
did like
Yeah, I heard that went over well.
and then the next year I did like honey baked fried chicken, like a few other stuff. So kind of stuff that I just thought it sounded good, and yeah, I just love that. And getting older, going to culinary school, I just really love just bringing people together, and I feel like food is just one of those few things other than music or alcohol or just tragedy,
Mm-hmm.
unfortunately,
Okay.
that really bring unlike people together. So I feel like if I can just like bring you know John Q somebody to sit next to you know Randy JoJo, just to
Mm-hmm.
sit down at the table, I feel like I'm making the world a better place.
That's dope. All this going on right now with COVID and everything. Starting a business right now is super tough. You and I are both kind of trying to start doing something like that at the same time. So I
Absolutely.
definitely understand the pitfalls of it. Tell me a little bit about what that's like for you trying to build a brand when you can't really go out and go meet people the way you normally would. Like normally, be shaking hands, kissing babies, trying to get the word out there, especially with who
Exactly.
you are. But
Like, not gonna lie, every time I hold a baby, I feel like Lenny from Of Mice and Men. So, but so
Are you
I was
kidding
very
me? Every time I saw a woman see you with a child, oh my God, he can have
just
mine all day. I
every
say,
time like I'll just pick up a little baby and like this is what Lenny probably was picturing the bunnies were. It's just like uh so so you are right. So you are correct with COVID. With COVID just kind of just making people stay 6 feet away from each other. It's definitely just made uh most of my Dapper Chef services a little tricky to navigate. So part of my business is that I'll actually go into people's homes, do private events, small gatherings. I love birthday parties. I love anniversary dinners. That's actually just like one of the things where I feel like I could just shine a lot. So, but with people wanting to just like socially distance, that's definitely just been an obstacle. So what I've done is I've actually recently just started making my own barbecue sauce. So if you
oh,
would go on to the
oh,
dapperchef.com website, I actually have
strawberry
a
barbecue sauce, guys.
yeah.
I already
So I
got
made
mine. Getting mine ordered in.
yes. So
Super
yeah.
excited. Yeah.
So I started making some strawberry barbecue sauce or barbecue sauce,
Mhm.
and then
Trademark
this and
that.
then at the beginning of and then at the beginning of October, I'm going to start making my apple spice barbecue sauce, or as I like to call the Dapper Apple. So
Nice. I
yeah,
like that. That's
and yeah, and then eventually, even though I can't do like in-home visits, I've actually just been trying to market myself now, or the next step is to market myself now to doing hot food drop-offs, and then also doing online cooking classes. So
okay.
yeah, so
Cool. Where do you want this to go? You know what I mean? Like what's the end game? What's the fully realized version of the Dapper Chef look like?
So the penultimate version of the Dapper Chef would be for. So right now I'm doing a Dapper Chef. So that's unfortunately right now that's my side hustle.
Okay.
My main job is just me slinging appliances and just like just selling like whole kitchen packages to people. So
Mhm.
um, which I found out is actually COVID proof. So I've actually been working this entire time.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
Retail never
ideally, what I would, yeah,
fails.
ideally what I would like to do, and so, but and I'm good at it, but like that's just kind of supporting the Dapper Chef. So, in an ideal world, I would like to just have the Dapper Chef just be my, sole source of income.
Mm-hmm.
I would like to just, you know, make myself just like, more available, either just like, selling, products or just selling barbecue sauces, regular sauces. I would love to do just like, private events, just like, for the rich and famous and maybe not so rich and famous, but
Yeah.
yeah, but I would just like to I would like to ideally have a balance of me cooking for other people, but also be able to, you know, go out and visit friends like you, or definitely just visiting family a
We
lot
ain't
more.
that far. That's what I'm saying. Indiana ain't that far away from where you are right
That's true. That's
now.
very
So
true.
we're a lot
Just
closer than what we used to be.
that's very true.
Before that journey used to be something serious.
That's
So
very true. Yeah,
that
got
journey is
got to stick with the
really
Midwest, but
absolutely
yeah,
in fact.
yeah.
If you guys knew how much respect and admiration I had for this man got me through some really rough times in
Me? What about you, man? Like this guy right here, this guy right here, the sole purpose of you listening to me right now. I mean, the reason like he's just been kind of like a guy like he's like as crazy of nights have been like he's just been that voice of reason. He's been the person who's like, hey, we probably should go. And
That
just
was
like
my job.
that was I'm not saying he's like the we gotta go person, but like
Nah,
when things are just but he just has that foresight. His spider senses were tingling like, yeah, we should probably go right now.
yeah. Like
Yep,
let's not go to jail tonight.
exactly.
Let's get out of here before something like that happens.
Like yeah, and I feel like and yeah, so RJ, he's the person that you need in your life. Just it's to quote the boys, which I've just been binge watching right now.
Oh man.
Right?
Don't
Uh
even get I'm 5 episodes in on season 2 right now. Yo.
he's RJ. Like you need a canary in your life. You need somebody just to like be there with you side by side,
Mhm.
but has the you know the touch from the heavens to let you know like, hey, this is as far as you can go. Because I'm a big proponent of just going as far as I can,
Mhm.
but you also need to have the wisdom to know how far you can go.
But that's honestly the best part about growing up with you guys, and I call it growing up because I did so much of my growing in life between those 3 to 4 years with having us all there. Um, the cool thing about that and the reverse for me is that I always felt like I played it too safe before I met you guys.
Yeah.
You guys were always the type to be like, "Hey, I know where the line is, but let's push that a little bit further. Let's inch past that
Yep.
and see what
And,
that looks like."
and I and I gotta say for me, and like I don't even know if I ever told you this, or maybe just everybody who grew up with us.
Mhm.
Hopefully, you can hear this too. But me growing up in Papillion, Nebraska, there weren't really a lot. There really weren't a lot of like other black dudes around my age that I hung out with.
Mhm.
And if I did hang out with them, they were pretty, um, using the Republican definition, thuggish.
Nah.
So, so imagine my surprise when I just like met other like-minded people who were as nerdy as me, as corny as me, who liked the same things that I liked, but who actually looked like me. Like that. I mean, not to just like downplay all the other information that like all the other events that we had, but like that right there was just like made me feel more comfortable with me being me.
Mm. I I have fully stepped into the idea of my blackness recently.
Yeah.
It's at 35 to say that it is kind of weird, but what you're saying to me is really interesting because it took me a long time to get okay with it because even though I grew up around black people, I grew up in Southern California, multi diverse, in, in my where I was never black enough. You know what I'm saying? I was always the guy who was, RJ's not really black, which I
Yeah.
never quite understood what that meant because, like, guys, I've had the police have to sit me down in Superman pajama pants because I look like a suspect who robbed somebody's apartment building once.
Yeah.
That, you know what I'm saying? That happened. So to finally step into and be like, nah, I'm black. I'm just black the way I want to be. It
Yeah.
has
And
changed everything.
yeah, and it's just, and also just for me, just like not getting permission, and I'm not trying to go too in depth with just like all the political.
Yeah.
No, not gonna say political. All the lynchings that's been happening over the past 4 years. I mean,
Hmm.
and I'm not like mixing words in it. It's lynching.
It is what it is. Yeah, we all
Yeah,
see it. Like
yeah,
anybody who doesn't see it just doesn't want to see it.
yeah. Like the definition of lynching is like you're like killing, or like you're just harming like a person of a race in front of another person, in front of their other people of that same race in public. That's exactly what it is.
That's basically what it is. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So, and for the longest time, and even just like me growing up, I was always just kind of told just to keep my emotions just like in check, because me being a big black dude,
Mm-hmm.
I didn't have the luxury of flipping out on people. I
Fact.
didn't have the luxury of just like losing my temper, and always to keep the peace. But also, quoting Ultron,
Mm-hmm.
because this is where I got all my references. Ultron, like he said it best, like you're confusing peace with quiet.
Mm-hmm.
So me being so me being peaceful and just like wanting peace, and I've even had some people on social media saying like, hey, maybe you should just like not post all this stuff, like maybe you should just like focus on the positives. And I called him out like, oh, so you want me not to talk about this, so you want me to pretend everything is okay when you and I both know it's not okay,
Just to make you feel better.
just
Like,
to make you feel better.
yeah, my job isn't to make you feel comfortable.
And I never thought that that would be like that mentality of I'm trying to be true to myself. I didn't realize like for some reason for some reason, or for a good reason, that's just tied into who I identify as, like what I identify as,
Mm-hmm.
and it yeah. So, and even just having this like this type of conversation with you know some of my friends in the LGBTQ plus community, even just like and even like my white female friends or cis female friends, just because having a conversation that like we're both minorities and majorities, her being a white woman, me being a black man, and
Mm-hmm.
just the way we navigate the world, or our perspective on the world, is definitely just like different. And just it's nuts, and I could probably just like wax intellectual about this for like the
Yeah.
next 30 minutes, but
Nah,
yeah.
absolutely. No, because that's one thing living in the Midwest now, because now that we're both Midwest, I mean, you've always been a Midwesterner, but now that I'm a Midwesterner too, it's tough to navigate. It really is a unique circumstance to be in, because my wife's white, my kids are my two older children are white, my youngest son is half.
Yep.
So to see the world that I'm introducing them into, um, and to try and navigate, especially for my youngest, to be like, look, man, I didn't mean to do this to you. I wish the world wasn't like this, but this is about to get rough.
Yeah.
Like there's no other way around. Until the world gets better, this is just what you gotta expect.
Yeah.
And
And
and to see that and to live in it. That's why I wanted this platform. That's why I want to keep developing these, because it's important for me. I realize now more than ever how important being able to see myself in media is.
yeah,
You know what I mean? Like
exactly.
when I wish at my age I could see kids like you. I wish at my age I could have seen people like you on the internet. I wish I could have seen people like me,
Yeah.
who, especially for me, I'm fat, black, and beautiful, but
Yes.
I got my own podcast. You know, you know what I mean? Like I'm out here. Like to be able to see that, to know that you can love who you are. I love comic books. I
Mhm.
love jazz music. I love rock.
Yeah. Or just seeing the like black representation outside of like just like athletic sports.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Because I mean, because if you really just want to like, if I want to go there, I mean, just hey, yeah, I'm gonna go there.
Yeah.
So I love playing sports. I play sports. It's one of
Hmm.
the reasons why I went to San Jose. One of the reasons I met you. But
Hmm.
I also feel like, and I've been watching like the show called Last Chance U on
Oh yeah,
Netflix.
big fan.
Amazing show. It
Yeah.
just goes into just like college JUCO kids. But hearing some of the like the black kids in kind of like the more lower end class,
Mhm.
like places like in like the South, and just hearing them just saying like, "Hey, this is the only chance I get. It's either playing sports or going to jail and getting killed."
Mm.
And it just makes me sad every time I hear that, because that's literally like, like their choices. And worst of all, like their parents or the people who are raising them, they're telling them that too. So like to them, their entire worth is like wrapped around entertaining people, like entertaining rich people, just making them more money, which you can really just like equate to slavery a little bit,
Mm-hmm.
just like my. So it's, and like I said, it's just like a mentality where your entire self-worth is just going to be dependent on how well you physically perform. And forget like any childhood trauma, forget any trauma that's going through right now, you know like stand up straight, don't talk, don't don't even tie your shoe, because it
Yeah.
looks like you're just like taking a knee. Don't even do that.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just so seeing somebody, so seeing somebody like like I agree with you, seeing somebody who represents me or different parts of me, like even if I grew up watching Chadwick Boseman, if Black Panther came out like when we were kids.
I would have been, I don't know what that would have done for me as an individual if I could have seen that earlier. Because for me, the only representation I saw was Carl Winslow and Oha from Coming to America. That's it.
Yeah,
That's all I got.
that's really what it is.
That's
That's
all
it.
I
Yeah.
got. Because I wasn't gonna look like Eddie. I wasn't gonna look like Martin. You know what I
Yep.
mean? Like I wasn't gonna play sports. So I wasn't gonna look like Mike or Kobe.
Oh no, you forgot the Nutty Professor, because
Yeah,
that was that. Yeah, that's really
positive
all it
role
is.
models.
Just just yeah. This like the Nutty Professor and Static Shock. That's all we really
That's
had.
all I had. I didn't have anything else. So to have this and to have this avenue and this platform to be able to do this and be able to show representation matters to me is so important. And I can't thank you enough for doing this, because this
Appreciate
is
it.
going to be one of those things where I'm going to look back on it and be like, this was cool. This was something that
So I got
but
so I, so my question for you is like so just seeing yourself just like using this platform, being just trying to be a positive plus size
mhm,
cis male role model for other Black people.
mhm.
Like, do you find yourself just like just trying to check yourself just to be better, like a better version of yourself,
Oh yeah,
or do you also just like feel like you're dealing with imposter syndrome a little bit more?
uh, I've had to I've had to come to a whole lot of hard truths recently,
Mm,
about who I was and who I want to be.
mm,
Um, when all this happened with the idea of running a podcast, the first thing that came into my head was I struggled a lot, and I think I said this in the last episode of The Kids Are Gone, with the being good with having hype in a crowd. You know what I mean? Like when I'm around a bunch of people, I can talk it up real good about
yeah.
myself,
Yep.
and I kind of could live in that avenue. And for the most part, unless you were like one of my close friends, you never really caught it.
Yeah.
Because so many people are just concentrated on themselves in that avenue that it doesn't necessarily really cause them to look at you any differently.
Mm,
So now that I want to do this, because the primary reason for this platform and what I want to do with it is be able to show people that you don't have to be anything other than yourself to be enough. So for
that's
me to do that, I have to do that with myself. So this is going to be as much about self exploration as it's going to be about highlighting those who are important to me and who I see making that change and doing things that are going to change that for other people. This is going to be about me stepping in and be like, yeah, you can come as you are
mm,
and be enough to make a change into somebody else's life. So it definitely has. It definitely made me have to reevaluate who I am and what I want to do moving forward. And it's been great. Like I it's scary. Like there's plenty of sleepless nights, but
yeah. No, that's
it's
that's true. Like I mean, definitely having a being partnered up with somebody, and not even like in a romantic way, but just like just having somebody who can just like be there, be your canary, if you will.
mm-hmm.
It's definitely just like helps you if you can find the right person, a friend or a partner. They can definitely just say like they can definitely guide you into like being that better version of yourself.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
The issue that I find
Mm-hmm.
with myself is that like my partner Erica, like she's been around me 5 years. Jeez.
Ah,
She's been dealing with
it
me for
sneaks
five.
up
She's been
on you,
dealing with me
bro.
for 5 years, cheese and crackers. Man.
It sneaks up.
Man, like I don't know about you, like you have lovely wife, lovely
Oh, yeah.
family.
Mhm.
Um, but like sometimes I look at Erica and she'll just like across the room and she'll smile at me, and I'll just think of like how long we've been together,
Mhm.
and I realize like me, and I'm like 5 years of me. Like, are you
Like,
serious?
you actually hung out this time?
Did
Like,
you lose the receipts? Like, what's going
like, did they tell you no returns? Is this something
on?
where you couldn't
Because I'm
get
just
it
like, I mean, yeah, I
out?
can cook. Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, I can cook. That's cool. But like, I'm a balding black dude with sleep apnea. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, I'm cool. Like I'm really cool. But like, like one time each day, I put the mask on and I sound like Bane. Or like I'll try to fall asleep and she has to like elbow me in the shoulder, be like, put your mask on.
I don't want to wear the mask.
Yeah, exactly.
I
But
don't
like,
want.
hey, I'll tell you this, like having to sleep, like I'll have fun with it. As soon as she turns off the light, I'm like, oh, you think darkness is? I like,
I was thinking the same. You thought you would. I was born in it.
or
Oh
or
my
she'll or
god.
she'll just like or she'll want some more like sheets, like all the sheets are on my side, and she'll just take the sheets, and I'm like, take control.
Take control of your shoes.
And yeah, so that's what she has to deal with, just like this big man
Oh,
child. But the
oh
point I'm getting is
man.
that the thing that I struggle with is that she'll want what's best for me, and she'll just have an idea like, this is a route that you need to go to.
Hmm.
But it's like the saying like, you can't lead a horse to water. So yeah, she just like, once she's very supportive, and she's just like, said like, hey, you want to do this, this is what you need to do. But it's just more about me motivating myself or putting checks in place for me to get there.
Hmm.
Because it could just be like, mentally I'm not, or I'll just like just go to like a default setting. I was like, oh, well, I'll just not that. So that's
Hmm.
been that's been a big struggle. And then also just talking about imposter syndrome. So like, kudos to you for coming out with a podcast. And even when I was doing the Chef Talk Tuesday,
Hmm.
I just was like, and who wants to listen to me, or like, what I do? And she was like, no, just keep on going. And then apparently people are like listening to me, and
Yeah, that's the
I was
crazy
just
thing. Like, when we first started doing the Kids Are Gone, we did it, took a break, and then did some more. I was like, nobody's gonna come back for these. And then we looked one day on one of our videos, and it was like 3,000 views on Facebook Watch, and I was like, what?
yeah,
Hold on, wait, what?
yeah.
Like that's a thing. People are watching this, huh? All right, I guess. But it was, I guess, trying to figure out what this is going to. I guess my biggest question for you when I was writing out everything we were going to talk about today is, what's something that if somebody was coming up behind you talking about the idea of you being now going to be something where people are going to look at that and be like, I kind of want to do that. I see him doing it. He's kind of the guy that I want to be. I want to do that. What's something that you wish you knew when you first started that you don't know now?
um
I mean,
if
that you know now.
like if a random person were to come up to me, with 5 words, it's worth it, you are worth it, or you're worth it.
That's awesome.
Because that's what it is. It's like, because I also feel like, I think I also have like, ADHD. But anyway, the reason why I bring that up is because negative thoughts, or like, negative voices just in your head.
Mm-hmm.
So for example, if you're driving down, like if you're just like, just cutting like an onion in your kitchen, and then like a random thought is like, what if you cut your finger off? That's what that is.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, like if I do anything where I'm just kind of putting myself out there, they'll just be like, no, you're not worth it. Or I just focus so much on the negative, and
Mm-hmm.
then I plan around the negative. And I never even think about like, the positive, because I focus so much on the negative, and just try to like, navigate this where I'm playing like, to the point where I'm playing like a choose your own adventure
Mm-hmm.
on how things would go wrong.
Mm-hmm. You
That's
start like you're putting out barricades in your way that aren't even there just because you think that they're going to be there.
exactly.
Yeah, I get it.
And yeah. And I thought about it. I've definitely been, part of, self improvement is like, I have gone to therapy. I have like, talked about like, childhood traumas, and
Mm-hmm.
everything. And yeah, and at like a certain point, I know there are a few points that I can remember that I put myself out there, and a person that's either was a teacher or like a family member has just like completely like crapped on my idea, which has made me feel very very low. And then in the back of my mind is like, well, you're never doing that again,
Mm.
and that's really like the it's really just like the source of that voice is just saying like, hey, like don't do this. So if somebody was just like came up to me and just like a random stranger came up to me and said like it's worth it, you're worth it, that would just be just very just like impactful.
I can see
And
that. I can
yeah,
definitely see that because you're your worst enemy when it comes to that stuff.
yeah,
Like if I can get out of my own way and realize that I'm enough to do it, then that's going to give me the motivation that I need because you already have the talent. I've
yeah,
seen what you do, and by this point, we've already put in so many different pictures of how talented this man is, from his recipes to his personality to who he is as an individual. If
yeah,
you aren't watching his stuff yet, do it now. It is
yeah,
definitely worth it for you because it's uplifting. He's smart. He's funny. He's consistent, and very few men who I've met in my life are as consistent as the Dapper Chef is. So
thank you, thank you.
I appreciate you, sir. I know you don't take compliments well. Take this one.
Don't cry now, that comes later.
See, this is why you can't do shows with black people. This is exactly why
Man.
you try.
um
You
oh
try
you
to
could oh
give
you
me
could
a
you could do
solid outro.
you could do hey you could do black people. Yeah, you could do like shows with black people. Here's what you do.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you plan out like half-hour segment. You write down 5 minutes of topics,
Mm-hmm.
and then the rest of the 25 minutes is gonna be like
That's
just
what
like
this
BS.
was.
Man,
We literally had 5 questions. That's all.
yeah, just more of the story is have somebody like RJ in your life
Dang.
because he will keep you on the straight and narrow.
Yeah,
Also have somebody who's wild and crazy enough to say, hey, you should take another sip.
I never had Jello shots before that. I'll never have Jello shots again.
Yeah,
That's a thing. That's
yeah.
definitely a thing now.
That's
Mm.
try clove cigarettes for the first time.
Oh,
That was
that was
fun.
yeah, that was new.
That
First time
was
I'd ever had schnapps. I think was the first time.
oh man, goodness.
Mm-hmm. Mm.
So,
Yeah.
being black and being positive, that's
Yes,
always a
being
good
black and
thing.
being positive.
Um, so moral story is that don't be ashamed of your experiences because they led you to be the person that you are now, for better for
Absolutely.
worse.
Absolutely. I look back on my past and am very grateful for it because it led me to where I am. And it gave me
Exactly,
great friends like you. So I
exactly.
appreciate you
Likewise.
tremendously. So yeah, try to do an outro again. Uh, this has been another episode of Come As You Are. Thank you guys so much for being here. Where can they find you, Mr. Dapper Chef?
You can find me on multiple platforms. On Instagram, I'm the Dapper Chef MN. You can also check out my Facebook page and me doing the Chef Talk Tuesday every Tuesday at 9 p.m. And you can also go on the dapperchef.com where I have my website. You can look at all my services and any sauces. For people who are in the Twin Cities area, I will be doing sweet potato pies pretty soon. So that's that. I may
I'm gonna
freeze
I'll
dry and
take
just send
notes.
one to you.
I'm gonna need you to ship that. Look, I'll pay for the shipping. I got you on that. It's no problem.
Yeah. So
Links, of course, will be in the bio for all this stuff too. So if
absolutely.
you
Yeah.
to catch him
Yeah.
on anything, please do. Um, and as always, thank you guys for watching. Like, share, subscribe, and have a good night. Thanks, guys.
Take control.